What's cracking, people? Angelic Mayhem here. Welcome to this episode of Never Played, a video series where I take you through the highlights from the first playthrough of a new video game title that I've never played before. Today's offering, Scarlet Blade, a mature-rated MMORPG that is a grinder's dream. Normally, I plan to have video footage of me saying clever things as I play the game. However, I'm not going to force you to watch me slaughter 80 beetles. Besides, I was so bored that I forgot to say funny things, so this video is going to break the mold. Alright, so let's start with the obvious. This game is known for its blatant objectification of women. Your character starts out in lingerie and has to earn the right to wear armor. Why? Because war is costly, and the woman who controls you can't afford to give armor to every dispensable foot soldier. So you have to prove that you're worthy. Except you don't find that out until much later, if you follow the plot at all, which you won't because you're a 13-year-old boy who wants to see boobs. The objectification is most notable by the fact that you can pay $20 US for a special perk that will strip your character completely naked, save a small band-aid, quote-unquote, over her hoo-ha, making you very popular with thousands of other players who will follow you wherever you go until you put your clothes back on. There are dozens of videos on YouTube on this very subject, so I'm going to move beyond nudity and focus on the game itself. The game begins with zero information on the two factions you have to choose from, so it would seem like a total crapshoot. The fact that there are only two sides should show you how cliched and dated this game really is. This game was developed in Japan in 2005. It's loosely based on a very popular fantasy combat book game called Lost World. It just launched on Aeria Games here in the US 1 month ago, and it has not been updated. That means that you're playing a reskinned version of a game that came out 8 years ago. So the plot goes like this. The girls in yellow are manufactured humanoids. They are created by, quote, the mother. And the girls in red are a splinter group that form their own clan after realizing that mother is corrupt and finding a way to deactivate all of her kill switches. Here's hint number one. You want the gang in red. Alright, not only will they give you all the same quests as you would get if you chose yellow, but they give you extra bonus quests, bonus experience, and a better story. Since we're on the subject, here's something most of the other videos on this game forgot to notice because they were busy staring at boobs. The storyline is actually really good. Someone took a lot of time to come up with a very compelling and awesome narrative. You have to read text to get it, but it's good. The problem is, in order to advance the story, you have to spend an hour murdering hundreds of dawdling prairie animals on the whim of your commanders. What's worse, if you decide you don't want to grind and move ahead on your own, the game locks down and you can't pick up any more quests until you go back and start following the path again. Grinding is part of the story. I made it to level 14. Still forced to grind away at beetles and aggravated bear cubs. I got locked out of the main quest when I refused to slaughter innocent people, and I gave up and stopped playing the game. At level 10, I got a motorcycle, which I had to dance on every time I mounted it. It allows you to move to your quest at significantly faster speeds. If you're not as bored as I was, at level 17, you will receive special powers that allow you to transform temporarily into a mechanical soldier that can then do mega damage at the expense of energy. And sometime around level 26-ish, you have to participate in a topless dance number in a discotheque. So, if you actually read the story, the game is not misogynistic. It's disgracefully objectifying, but it demonizes anyone who mistreats women and pushes the idea that women can be strong and capable warriors. There are special segregated areas where all the rules change. You can take a party in with you or go it alone. I found a mine, for instance, that had a huge robot foreman and a broken robot chick in it. Unlike the rest of the areas, enemies didn't respawn when I killed them, and some of the enemies even aggroed me when I got within 5 meters. Depending on the class, some of these special attacks are really awesome. So there are some good things in this game. So let's talk about the cons. Grinding to the point that you forget what the story told you when you last heard it because you've been grinding for so long. Almost every mob waits until you hit them to aggro, so there's no sneaking or skill involved in grinding. You just start whacking away. It's all about time. There's nothing that requires tact or espionage, only constant brute force. The classes are incredibly uneven, to the point that a quick trip to the forums will reveal that the Punisher is without question the best class to play. Not only is there a huge benefit with her ranged attacks, but she can wipe out whole crowds of units with her special attacks, as opposed to the other classes where you're taking on each individual member of the mob one at a time. The healer is the worst. It will take you forever just to get to level 10, and by then you'll be suicidal. All of the innuendo is crass and telegraphed. You see it coming a mile away. Since this game was made in Korea, I'm guessing they have a different opinion of sexuality than we do. There are missions at level 8 to rescue girls being held as prisoners behind metal gates. The gates, if you stop attacking them, regenerate health. That's just weird. There is no branching from the quest you are on, and no refusing to do quests you don't want to do. One path to rule them all. What little voice acting there is rough. You get a lot of standard audio responses that have nothing to do with what the character actually is saying if you read the dialogue. I had audio that was a chipper howdy for guys who told me flat out they hated me. In fact, at one point, I hated me also because every time you are struck by an enemy, you make the world's most annoying orgasm noise. When you combine 30 players in a valley all slaughtering goats and making the same squirrel squeak, it's enough to make you want to kill yourself. So is this the worst game ever in history? No, it isn't. We have seen far, far worse in all areas, including the nudity. It has a really nice story about absolute power, drug abuse, and AI that sadly is cut with hours upon hours of boobs and brute. Is it ludicrous and crass? Yes. Is it offensive and boring? Yes. Is it an aged relic that needs to be updated to add some of the advances in MMORPG design? It is. This is the perfect game for horny 13-year-old boys that sneaks in a bit of morality, except they'll never get to that part because after seeing their first boobs back on level 1, they'll chalk that up as a victory and then quit. Well, that's it for this edition of Never Played. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please click on the like button below or subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more videos in the future. I'm Angelic Mayhem, and I'll see you next time.